Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday night. It's just after 9:05. Thank you for staying tuned to the Superstation. We are happy to be on after TBS's special holiday airing of Speed Zone. But this is What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. How's everybody doing?
Fair to middling.
I need a couple of steps up to get to fair to middling. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing out in Viewerland? As we said in the previews, you know, it's not Yojo June until What's on Joe Mind says so, and we say so. So welcome to the official Yojo June kickoff show.
The white smoke has come out of the Sistine Chapel.
Joining me here in the top row, fresh off of his trip to the local comic shop, because he's got nothing else to do right now, guys. It's summer. He is a shiftless layabout. It's Ragtime Rob.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
I don't know why all of a sudden it felt like some kind of weirdo, but
Joe, Real American Hero, has the vibe. I love how broke everyone looks and sounds and types after a pre-order day. Oh.
I've done been robbed,
and then confides, "It's me. I'm everyone." So yeah, I'm good on you, man. You know, acceptance is the first step to recovery. In the bottom row, he is back after his 2-month hiatus. He managed to get himself kicked off the pre-show, but from articulated points, Phil Donnelly on the program this evening. Welcome back, Phil.
I always got to find new and interesting ways to get kicked off this show.
Disparaging a movie you'd never seen featuring the great John Candy will not stand.
Look, Wagons East is the pinnacle of filmmaking. We know this.
It will not stand. I'm willing to give you some of them are better than others. Wow, I'm willing to give you some of them are crummy, except he makes them pretty good. But that's as far as we'll go.
And where does Stripes rank on this list?
Stripes is pretty good, man. What are you talking about Stripes?
I'm just trying to gauge your
I would say that the first half of Stripes is a great comedy movie, and then it kind of loses it halfway through. When they get into that whole, RV attack RV bit for Act 3, it kind of loses its way a little bit.
I mean, they're just putzing around, driving from Italy to, what was it, West Germany for the weekend?
Right.
East Germany. Yeah.
East Germany, yeah.
Well, they picked up the ladies in West Germany.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. They end up in East Germany because,
It's been a while, because usually when I see Stripes on TV, I'll watch the beginning, and then I'll get to about halfway through and be like,
We may have to kick off Michael Gene Fleming from the show.
Right. He's kind of young, but who's John Candy is not acceptable, sir. You need to go educate yourself, and you need to do it quickly. Not acceptable.
This has been the John Candy Power Hour with
Jack Nomad says Stripes is just under the Blues Brothers, but just above Uncle Buck. I would say absolutely not. Blues Brothers, top of the heap. Uncle Buck is right there on the top of the heap with it. Stripes is somewhere in the middle of the heap.
With the great outdoors.
Yeah, I'd say in the John Candy movie Parthenon, that's about where it is. Firefly. Mike just reminded me why I don't watch Stripes. I tried to watch it with my wife all the way through, and it just doesn't hold up. No, it really falls off in Act 3.
Yeah.
That one is kind of tough.
Yeah, when they get stationed in Italy, it's
Jedi Ben.
Until you get the closing montage where you get a dream date with Ox.
Jedi Ben referencing Mark Webber's favorite character from that movie, Sergeant Hulka, the Big Toe. Again, once they graduate basic, you can go find something else.
Once Francis has indeed lightened up.
Right.
Lighten up, Francis.
Right. I mean, it's believe me, if I wasn't doing a G.I. Joe podcast, I'd probably be doing a baseball podcast. Yeah. If I wasn't doing a baseball podcast, I'd probably be doing a John Candy movie podcast. So that's about where we're at.
It's good to know where you stand in life.
Hey, man. Hey. Everybody's got their favorites. But, Phil, what you been doing the last couple months?
Going to Disneyland
Yeah, we
and
know.
in Universal Studios. And
What?
yeah, I know. It was weird to me too.
Does Disney smell it on you when you go back, or do you go through an intense showering regimen?
It's one of those where you shower yourself raw and you're crying the whole time, but you can't see the tears because the shower's on your face.
Yeah, Wreck Ship 85 notes that John Candy is Barf the Mog. He's his own best friend.
That's right.
Dustin Jeffrey, Spaceballs, Home Alone, Great Outdoors. Damn, I miss John Candy. Andrew Galgan wants to know where the love is for Splash and Brewster's Millions. Saw Brewster's Millions. That was the first, a couple weeks ago. We were up at my dad's.
Yeah.
And we sat through Brewster's Millions. That was the first time I've watched that movie in probably 15 years. And it's still fantastic. Firefly, John Candy's most rewatchable work was on SCTV. Some of it, yeah. Anytime it's Johnny LaRue, you're in good shape. That's Entertainment Plus.
Or Dr. Tongue.
Or Dr. Tongue, yeah. 3D House of Pancakes.
We're a G.I. Joe podcast. We're a G.I. Joe podcast.
Look, man, I'd rather have. We have about 1,500 subscribers.
Yeah.
If we never get another one, I'm okay with it because we know that those 1,500 are our people. Okay, there are bigger channels out there last week that clogged up everybody's time, making guesses as to what we were going to see this morning, talking about figures that probably aren't even on the drawing board. Clickbait after clickbait after clickbait. We keep it real on What's on Joe Mind. That's all I can promise you we're ever going to do. When we break lists of figures, they happen.
And the only speculation we do is how John Candy would have been on Ghostbusters.
Probably awesome. He's John Candy.
Yeah.
Well, they offered him Louis Tully, but he didn't get it. He was thinking maybe he'd play him German. Couldn't quite get the lay of the figure, of the character.
Yeah, I mean, he had other things going on too, so I get why he was throwing his weight around on that one. It's all right. I mean, if you're gonna give up other lucrative projects to do Ghostbusters, at least get to be your supporting character the way you want to play him. But I can't. I mean, when you look and realize that he was replaced by Rick Moranis,
yeah,
who turned in a career performance in Ghostbusters, you can't be too sad.
Yeah.
John Candy looked at that and said, "The hell with this! I'm making Summer Rental."
I believe the conflict was with Splash.
Oh, well, all right.
Okay. Anyways, Firefly says, "Oh no, they're going to leave our John Candy podcast for a Batman the Animated Series podcast." Oh, surveillance port, planes, trains, and automobiles. Nobody even mentioned that one yet. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Haslab. I'm in.
But is it the plane, the train, or the automobile?
It's not the point.
It's the house they go to at the end for Thanksgiving.
I just want the 2-pack with the bald-headed bear.
I want the guy that takes him to the train in Stubbville.
People trains in Stubbville.
He pulled something there.
That sound hurts to make, but it's worth it. Hurts to make. Oh shoot! What do you say, folks? We got a lot tonight, so we're gonna cut our banter short a little bit and go right into the news. Sound good?
Fine.
I guess.
There we go. See, Racktime Rob's happy that Phil is back because Phil's not going to challenge him for the doots. But first news item.
Doot, 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 doot.
Hey, it made the rounds yesterday to all of us G.I. Joe media types. But Cold Slither released the lineup of the band. Not that they're anybody that you've heard of, but it's nice to be able to put names and faces to the characters that we're going to see in these videos and what have you.
And
That
you
is,
could, in fact, be joining them soon.
I mean, that's the plan, right?
Hmm.
Gus Rios is Zartan. He's plays bass and supplies lead vocals. Matt Harvey, not the pitcher, not the Mets Dark Knight. No, not him, but a different Matt Harvey is Ripper on guitar. Gentleman with the best name in the band, Ross Sewage, on guitar, and then a gentleman named Andy Selway is buzzer, and he plays drums. So again, fun. I don't know if you've been out there watching the videos, listening to the songs that they've released to this point, but this is a fun project, right? This is worth spending a couple of bucks on an album, even if you don't like 80s hard rock.
When do they release a video of them fighting over if it's breath mints or candy mints?
I believe that's a bonus track on.
Ooh.
And no, I God forbid if it was. I mean, I would give
if it was, they'd have my money.
We're spoiling the surprises now.
Right. Like it's Joe ARAH with the inside track there. Andy Selway is KMFDM's drummer, which meant a lot back when I was in college in 1996. Sorry, cheap shot. Anyways, but these guys, they're industry vets. They've been around 20, 30 years in some cases. They've been on a lot of projects, and so the musical IQ of the Cold Slither project looks like it's pretty good.
For a soulless corporate sellout, this is a
right. Right, man. Look, man, sometimes corporations do cool things, even if they're terrible. But too far. There we go. Man.
The Freudian slip. What's the term for that with a slideshow?
Now, as I told Rob last week, when we get paid on Friday, the first thing I'm doing is ordering a new mouse. But new single released yesterday for Thunder Machine, now streaming on all major outlets. They've released the guest list for the album. There's a lot of Dreadnought and show references in there. But July 24th, you'll get to see Cold Slither live at San Diego Comic-Con at a club called Brick by Brick. We do have the link for ticket sales down below in the description. And then the day after, on July 25, the full release of the Cold Slither LP on digital and vinyl. And there are special... like you can get I believe it's a blue one from the Hasbro booth at San Diego and a red one from the RPM booth at San Diego. So if you're into the exclusives, they've got you set up. But there's all kinds of cool Cold Slither stuff out there. Be sure to check out Hasbro Pulse for all the details.
Now, if only Lion would open for them, and we could get the hard rock tones of the Transformers the movie.
Maybe Stan Bush.
Right. I mean, Stan Bush, he would clear out his schedule for that.
He would.
Because I don't know if there's anything on his schedule to clear out other than Transformer shows, but
do laundry.
But figure 6-pack with the help. Use the arrow keys to change the PowerPoint pages. Yeah, I don't want to be sitting there. Put my hand in the bottom of this.
Meat paws.
Right? It's too close. I can't slide in. I can't slide my hand in there without everybody seeing because there's too many G.I. Joe figures in front of me on my desk to accomplish that. I have a messy, tiny desk. And this week that is biting me a little bit. Oh, phrasing, Mike. Whatever, man. I said what I said. I got the phrasing. Got the phrasing right here. Figure 6-pack. Yeah, too many beachheads around the keyboard. Exactly.
Yeah, I think he's nailed it.
Yeah, I mean it's not really a riddle. Falcone says, for some reason, I was thinking a 9 start, not 8. Well, you must be on Central Time because we did start at 9.
Yeah.
If you're Phil, we started at 6. We're interrupting dinner.
It's still daylight here.
I mean, it's still daylight here. That's what happens when you're in the part of the Eastern time zone that should probably be in the Central time zone. But yeah. Hey, look, Cooter's Garage is happy to see you, Phil. We got Phil tonight. It's been too long. Not too longer.
Well, it's nice to know I have my fans.
You got your fan. He didn't. We managed to get you kicked out in the pre-show. But next news item. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyways, over at Codename Iowa, they are taking your votes because this year for Assembly Required, the fans are in command of the assault on Cobra Island. You can choose your squad. The link to that is also down below in the description. While you're in that description box, why don't you do those cool YouTube things by hitting the subscribe button and the thumbs up button for the video. If you want us to keep talking about John Candy movies in your G.I. Joe podcast, hit all those buttons. If you don't want us to, also hit all those buttons. We'll know which one you mean.
Yeah.
We'll know.
We will be able to guess your intent.
Right. We know these things. We are YouTube celebrities. We're aware. Wait, we're not YouTube celebrities.
I mean, internet famous is a wide scale.
Right. Right.
Why?
Right. And it used to be, it kind of freaked us out back in the day when we would go to JoeCon, and invariably there would be one person that would hear me and Gary and Justin talking to one another and would recognize us from that. Because, of course, it was an audio-only podcast back in the day. So that used to kind of mess with our heads a little bit, and that was famous enough. So I'm comfortable with my level of fame.
I've had people at San Diego Comic-Con recognize me by my name badge.
Look, let's face it. When you go to Disneyland, you get the Norm Peterson greeting.
Phil!
Phil!
But Firefly has it correct. Clicking that link because AR never misses. Punching that like button with Big Boa's boxing glove while I'm down there. I don't know what that's a euphemism for, sir, but, you know, I'm glad that's in the temporary chat and not in the big boy comments, which you should leave one of as well. Be sure to leave your overall impressions from today's Yojo June presentation down there while you're looking, or maybe your favorite John Candy movies. We don't care. Talk about whatever. We'll probably interact with you regardless.
Don't even need to provide context.
Yeah, tell us what rides you think Phil should hit on at Disneyland.
I should
whatever.
hit on?
I don't know, Phil. What rides do you hit on people on?
Well,
what Disneyland rides turn you into the Mac, Phil?
Well, if you're 20 feet is, annoyingly enough, it's a small world.
I feel dirty.
Yeah.
I feel dirty now. G.I. Joe RPG Story says, hello there. Well, hello there, G.I. Joe RPG Stories. Welcome to the show.
General Kenobi.
Hello there.
But as Firefly said, Assembly Required never misses. So they outline the whole project and why you're choosing a squad of G.I. Joes. Because the winners of their polls are going to be presented in artwork for Assembly Required later in the year. So your vote matters. You know, who you want to see represented is important to what they're doing. So be sure to get down there, choose your squad. The polls are open now, and help Assembly Required get some work done for a change. Huh?
Yeah.
Right. I'm making a joke about them working. Radio boys making a joke about them working. They're working all the time, man. I think they take a day or two off after Assembly Required and then they start planning the next one like that following Wednesday.
They're like Santa.
Right. Right. Dustin Jeffrey asks, if Phil's not riding the Haunted Mansion, is it really considered a trip to Disneyland? I would say no, because the Haunted Mansion is my favorite Disney experience because it is air conditioned to hell in there. That is the most comfortable you will be anywhere in the Disney parks. So Haunted Mansion, big score.
Not to get you demonetized by playing it, but I actually do have the Haunted Mansion audio on my phone. So
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that, Phil.
it's just I can have it whenever I want.
You're going to get me demonetized, Phil, and then we're going to have a talk.
Words will be spoken.
We will have a talk. So anyways, once we're done tonight, go ahead and click on the link down below and vote in AR's poll. Next news item. Hey, going on Kickstarter right now, Carson's book. It's the last time you're going to see this one. They're only collecting pledges until June 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So Ride to the Sound of the Guns is the story of his grandfather, General Theodore Metaxas. His life plays out pretty much like the story of United States foreign policy in the second half of the 20th century. If something important was happening in the Western Hemisphere, chances are General Metaxas was involved with it somehow. And it's all stuff out of his personal library. I've got, we know Carson pretty well here at What's on Joe Mind. So we've gotten to hear some of these stories that are in the book. We've gotten to see some of the materials that are included in the book. You will not be sorry pledging this book. So if you are a fan of military history at all, make sure you head over to Kickstarter and check out Ride to the Sound of the Guns and give it a pledge. It is funded, so you don't have to worry about that. We are not straining to get across the finish line. It was just a $5,000 goal. I believe they're over $7,000 as far as the money they've collected, but we are running out of time. So if you want in on this great project from Carson and his family, make sure that you get over there in the next couple of days before the end of the week. And I would be remiss if I didn't give this the old Kickstarter treatment. I mean, it's Cold Slither time. We can't not have a Cold Slither bit. So,
and then Eric with the insight in.
Right. Eric notes that not only is Carson a great storyteller, he's a gentle yet considerate lover.
Well,
yeah. Okay. I've heard that. I've heard that.
It is. It's currently sitting at 7,200 even.
There you go.
3 days to go.
Just plain old Jay says, at first I thought that was a new slogan for Taco Bell. Those aren't guns. You're not riding to the sound of guns at Taco Bell. Those aren't guns.
That is a tragic mistake.
They have a similar type of sound, and certainly some expulsion is involved, but not guns.
Perhaps
boom and reverberation. But
yeah. Falcone heard Kickstart My Heart today, and now I only think of What's on Joe Mind when I hear it. Same. I have done that to myself. So there's a few songs like that have been used in the past that I just can't. I
believe that officially makes you an influencer. So careful there.
Something like. I mean, it's not so much because I do the production, so I can't really influence myself. But Herb Alpert's Little Spanish Flea, I can't not hear that and not think of the program.
I can't not hear that and not think of Homer Simpson. So.
And to give everybody who is not familiar with Herb Alpert, this is what we use it for currently. No, we will not be doing a live unboxing, but I just wanted to give everybody where that music is put to work currently. So 5 seconds long, so they can't tag us.
Take that, Herb.
Right? Herb's still alive, isn't he?
I believe he is.
He's like 94, 95.
Why is your name Alpert and not Albert? You're throwing us all off.
Look, man. Herb Alpert has charted songs in 6 different decades. as a performer. So he gets to spell his name however he wants. However he wants.
Oh, wow. Herb may be coming to town.
Awesome.
August 7th.
I didn't think he was still playing with the Tijuana Brass.
He is listed Herb Albert and the Tijuana Brass, August 7th at 7:30 at the Palladium in Carmel.
All right.
I think these days it's more the Tijuana Rust, but you know.
I don't think they just have the same guys. I think some of the other Tijuana Brass have cycled through, Phil. I think we got a fresh group in there.
So not only that does answer
water
the question.
pipes after
Is
a few
Herb
decades.
Albert still with us?
Right. Again, he's up there, man. If you get to 94, you're in good health. I think that's just a default. So might as well. Anyways, if Herb is still with us and we get to see him, we'll encourage him to read Ride the Sound of the Guns from our friend Carson Metaxas. Be sure to pledge and get your copy soon. Head over to Kickstarter because you're running out of time collecting pledges until June 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Herb Albert, 90 years old.
90. Okay. All right. Next news item. Oh, well, of course, you can check it out. Carson talks about his project on our episode number 339 from back on March 26th, putting it together. Still funding now. After Action Report, Command Files 2. This one is also funded, so you may pledge with confidence. But Greg and Josh and Roger, they're letting this one go for a long time. It is collecting pledges until June 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern. They wanted to let that run past the end of Joe Fest to let everybody spend their wad of cash and then, come back and catch as many of those other folks as possible.
Please, sir, I'd like some more.
I would say, even if you are planning to go to Joe Fest, their book is not terribly expensive, so you should just go pledge it now and save yourself the angst. Save yourself the trouble. And I'm looking for my button because we got to hit it again. There we go.
Currently at 23,589.
Right, and that was a goal of
doubled their goal.
Yeah. So they have been funded for a long time. They're going to be very, very funded before it's all over. So go ahead and check that out now as well. Of course, Roger and Greg were on the show just a few weeks back on April 30th, episode 343, talking about their book there. And that is now the second laziest thumbnail in What's on Joe Mine History. Because tonight's thumbnail, tonight's show, the thumbnail for tonight's show, that's the laziest thumbnail. It's not the worst.
You put an extra logo in the corner. So that right. Takes effort.
It's not the worst it's not the worst thumbnail we've done, because I've done some pretty obtuse ones, but it is the laziest one. So, anyways, next news item. Hey, it brings us to the biggest news story of the day.
What?
Earlier this morning, for those of us here in the Eastern time zone, at 11 a.m., Hasbro Pulse, their G.I. Joe team, did their first fan stream of Yojo June. If you're like Phil, living in the past, you had to get up at 8.
Wow. Why would you do that?
Butthole. Because it's always nice in California. You deserve to have to do something hard.
Target's pre-orders go up at 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
Sleep in. They're not going to be there anyway.
Oh. But on hand were the usual suspects. Emily and Tony and Lenny were there having the fun that they normally have, telling us all about what's coming out soon in the world of G.I. Joe. So what do you say we get to it?
What is coming out soon in the world of G.I. Joe?
We will start with the ethereal name-only reveals Mentioned that the Desert Scorpion is on the way. And the way Lenny was talking about it, it sounds like he's going to come with some extra gear so you can have a Desert Scorpion leader, like it is with the Night Creepers, I think. You know, you just get a different head in there so you can have somebody look different.
Well, I remember him mentioning it had the Scorpion, which I guess is like the big robot, right?
I don't know. I mean, the robot, it did come with the big robot Scorpion.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the leadership of Desert Scorpions.
It's going to come with Scorponok?
That's a big box.
Right. Instead of being a headmaster, there's just a chair up there with some levers. Not levers, mind you. Levers.
None of them are labeled.
No.
Not the Batcave, not up to Batcave standards then.
And of course, there is also the Steel Core Defense Post and Sentry, which sounds much like a repaint of the Cobra, the Cobra outhouse that they released for pre-order a few months ago.
That's gonna be awkward if you stick them together and they're just fighting each other naked gun style.
It's your own version of the Berlin Wall.
Right. So we'll take a quick question there. Phil, you looking forward to those?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see what's form an opinion when pictures emerge. But yeah, no, in the abstract, yeah, I got nothing against them.
How about you, Ragtime Rob?
We'll see when we get pictures.
I'm probably in for a Desert Scorpion. That was our friend Gary Head's favorite character. That was his favorite figure from back in the day. So I will certainly grab one of those as tribute there. The fence post and the sentry, whatever. I'm not a big steel core guy. I don't need a ton of army builders on the Joe side. I just a couple hundred beachheads and I'm set.
They need to come in with file cards that you fill out yourself.
Or you could just get like an index card, Phil.
Yeah.
Man, where is the fun in that? When
he's frozen.
But and then we got some digital renders as well. First up, we've got the Ostriker, which we have seen before. And they talked a bit more about the functionality of the parts on the Ostriker, about how that roll cage in the back is removable and the guns are modular and you can do this and that and the other thing. I mean, it's fine. If you were in on the Ostriker to begin with, you're still in on it. If you weren't, you weren't. I really continue to not like those tiny, tiny wheels. You're not going to all weather a whole lot with tiny, tiny front wheels like that. So Cobra Emperor 6 says 3 live chats all in one night. Untrue, sir. There is what's on Joe Mind, and there is other stuff that you can pass. So
there's 3 of us here chatting live.
Right. But yeah, so the Ostriker is coming sooner rather than later. I think we had that figured out. What do you think, Phil Donnelly?
Same opinion as when you pulled me on this before. It's okay. I might wait for it to go on sale, like the Stinger currently is. I think there's a good chance that'll happen. But yeah, I'm not really in for it right now.
Ragtime Rob?
Man, I hope they make bigger wheels.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening at this point.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. But
other than that, I don't mind the change in the updates.
Yeah, I actually like the updates to the rest of it, because if my complaint about the original Ostriker was that it was just kind of small. It felt like the lesser carbon copy of the Vamp. It didn't feel like an improvement back in the day. It just felt like something that was there and had the same functionality.
The cartoon tried to make it the Vamp, but it's a different vehicle.
Yeah, right, of course. But like with the Havoc, right? They tried to make the Havoc the heavy tank. and the Havoc is not a heavy tank.
No.
Or the stun replace the hiss.
Right. But
yeah, this is. I mean, this is like a recon, a scout vehicle.
But as far as it goes, like I at least I know there are folks out there who love this Striker, and maybe they'll buy a couple and be willing to sell me a crankcase, because crankcase looks like he's pretty cool.
Until he goes to Truciella Bisma.
Then it's a quick and painful out. Just plain old Jay says, just buy two. Have a version with little wheels and a version with big wheels.
Well, now we know Hasbro's plan.
Surveillance Port says that unless the Striker is going to battle Cobra on Rainbow Road, those Mario Kart wheels have to go. Very true.
Do I smuggle it into Universal Studios and take a little video with it in front of me while I go on the ride?
You could just superimpose, a stationary picture of the Striker with that in the background.
Firefly says, I love the original Striker and not so much crankcase. The reverse is true for me on this one. I'm kind of with you there, man. But you do have an official request, Phil, to do that on your channel.
It could be like the opening credits of a Naked Gun movie.
Yeah, but where is Zsa Zsa Gabor going to come out and smack it?
Look, you're in California. There's a decent chance of that happening anyway, even if she's dead.
Right. She'll just forget and just get up and start walking around. But Craig Cohan says it's Joe Speedbuggy, and he doesn't have a face or a cool voice. It's an upgrade over Tinker, though. I'll give it that. But also in the digital render category, we got to see the Legacy Police Officer, and we got to see the Renegades 2-pack featuring Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer. So we'll start with the cop. Phil, you're very much pro-establishment. As I charge things. No. But no, ignoring political talk, Phil, what do you think of the policeman there, the police officer?
It's a police officer. It feels the same way I felt about the firefighter. It's nice. It's not for me, but it's nice.
Yeah, I dig the Legacy collection for those that enjoy it, but I don't need those guys. I haven't bought a single one of them. But that's fine. I get at least they're done well. So folks that do want that taste of Adventure Team or classic GI Joe, 60s GI Joe in their 1/12 scale figures, they get to have that.
Somebody put peanut butter in your chocolate.
Racktime Rob, what do you think of the police officer?
He's fine. I'm probably not going to buy that one either. I haven't bought any of the Legacies, so
yeah.
He has to tell us if he's a cop.
He's got to tell us if we ask.
I mean, it is missing. I mean, they got the coffee. It is missing a bagel or a donut, but
Right. I mean, why there's no Danish? I'll never understand. But Michael Gene Fleming notes, it's such a minor thing, but I'm happy they have both a standard pistol and a revolver for sidearms, since depending on location, a policeman might carry either. That's true.
I don't think that's a revolver. I think
that's a flare gun.
Yeah. Now, Leah, look, I thought maybe there was a second one, but no, that's definitely. There's the taser, the pistol, and then the flare gun is the other one. So that's what Michael Gene Fleming says is true, but that's not a revolver. Barking Fridge says it's for your Police Academy collection.
Wow.
He needs a megaphone then.
I mean, you need to get two of them, and that way you can have a Mahoney and a Jones. and then you're set.
And a blue oyster backdrop.
So
that is the one thing that makes it into every movie.
Just plain old Jay does say the parka is what makes the cop cool. Actually, the parka is a pretty neat accessory,
Yeah.
so that is pretty cool. Moving on to the 2-pack there, the Sarge and Mercer. Ragtime Rob, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I'm looking at a comment by Bart, saying, mentioning Tackleberry, and I was like, yeah, Mercer looks like he's got enough guns for Tackleberry.
Yeah, they really loaded up. They really loaded up Mercer and the Sarge.
Yeah.
He even comes with a pistol with a ridiculously long barrel.
But what do you think of the figures, Rob?
I do like these. I like the different look to the Sarge there, and Mercer's not bad.
How about you, Phil?
I'm surprised they're referencing a convention figure and not, a retail Sergeant Slaughter, but okay, we'll go with it. And then I do like that we finally got the little knot symbol on the Mercer instead of just, in cartoon form.
Right. I'm okay with look, Sarge is just a guy who I think as you can only remake him in so many different wrestling uniforms before he starts to get boring. So I'm okay with them changing things up and giving us a different take on Sarge here. I'm going to agree with Tony from the live stream. I love that second Sarge head with the whistle sticking out of the side of his mouth, the snarl on him. That head right there might make that a buy for me simply for its display value alone.
I just realized it came with a beret too.
Right. Well, it's got the beret. It's got the Marine lid.
Yeah.
And it's got his drill sergeant hat.
You can do a heel turn with him.
The whistle, the snarl, and the smoking grenade launcher up there.
Right. And Mercer is fine. I don't have a problem with how Mercer looks, and they're staying pretty close to the 1987 version, the first version of Mercer. So that's cool. And he is loaded to the hilt, man. That's crazy how much stuff he's coming with.
He needs to come with an itty bitty ditty bag to hold it all.
What's that in between them at the bottom there? It looks like a backpack. That probably
backpack, yeah.
That probably counts as a ditty bag.
There's a ditty bag inside that.
I mean, that's Mercer's backpack because Sarge is going to make him carry his stuff.
I guess.
Joe Real American Hero says Mercer's supposed to be taller, but it's fine. I think Mercer's regular size. I think it's just that Sarge is big.
The Energon universe, has him as a big hulking.
Right. Energon Mercer is humongous.
Yeah,
he's kind of a combination of Mercer and Sarge on his own. But
I do realize his secondary hands don't have the finger gloves, so that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Mm.
I noticed that too when I was putting this together. And I didn't notice much when I was putting this stuff together because I got done with work at 4 and then pretty much did the whole thing between 4 and when we started. I'm a little tired today. But so I think he's just kind of a regular size guy. Matt Rubin says Mercer wasn't that small in the animated movie. He was larger than Falcon. Maybe Falcon was only 5'6". You don't know. Cobra Emperor 6 asks, what about Red Dog and Taurus? I don't think they're stopping classified anytime soon, so be cool.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be first.
It's usually a hint as to what's coming later.
Right? They're not going to punt. They're not going to push out a bunch of 2-packs at the same time. They're going to have to stagger those. Stitch Young asking, does anyone know where the yellow sunglasses are from? And no, sir, I do not. My guess is that's just the ones that came with Leatherneck. So
yeah, the range goggles,
the pistol range goggles. So We got an LOL. I'm not sure why. But so yeah, for as much as I famously do not care for Mercer, that Sarge may drive me to buy that pack on its own. And Mercer's not a bad figure. Again, it's the story on Classic Mercer that I need fleshed out a little bit, but he's not that important. So he's already more important in the Energon universe. So Firefly just really likes putting goggles or glasses on his Joes. You can't have enough. All right.
I mean, they work most of the time as long as it's not Buzzer.
I would say you can have enough because it's really hard to put two on at the same time. So.
Well,
that's why they invented Gorilla Glue.
That's right. It's right on there. And then as you're pulling your thumb away, it kind of sticks, and then the glasses just they tilt a little bit, so they're crooked. Yeah.
With a fingerprint now glued on.
Zaybot CGC asks, is Sarge a convention exclusive? I don't believe so, no. I think this is going to make its way to more general release.
Yeah.
But we don't know. They didn't give us any details on this. This is just digital render.
Yeah,
Your
it's definitely
profile
not San
pic
Diego
is in-
because we know that's Cold Slither.
Your profile pic is
Right.
in competition with your username.
Right. So, not sure on that one, but my guess is he is not a convention exclusive.
He may be a Pulse exclusive or something.
Possibly. Those 2-packs tend to be. Foreshadowing. So, and then past the digital renders, we did get some actual product. And these pre-orders are open now. They should be available for everyone as the exclusive time for Pulse Premium subscribers is long since passed. But the first pre-order available today was Budo. Budo is a deluxe class figure, so he is more than just the standard 25 to 30. He is available just about everywhere. Anywhere you buy Joe's. He is sold out on Pulse, but usually happens pretty quickly on figures that are available everywhere. So just try somewhere else, and you should have some luck. But Budo is there. He's got lots of gear. He's got kind of military tack gear for modern Budo, and then classic feudal Budo samurai gear. I dig that they gave him that much. Like, if you're going to do a kind of an oddball character like Budo, at least you're taking the time to do him right. What do you think, Phil?
I like that they're referencing both his original figure and his retaliation figure with the swappable gear. I think that's a nice touch. And I ordered one, so it's obviously working on me.
I'm getting one. I like it. As Toy Bounty Hunter calls it, Tactical Budo and Tom Cruise Last Samurai.
Right, Budo.
Ragtime Rob, what do you think?
I mean, it's a nice figure. I didn't get one just because I never got Budo. I was just like, if you're letting the guy dress as a samurai in, okay, where's the guy dressed as the medieval knight? Where's, it's just like, it didn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me.
I tend to agree with that assessment of Budo. As with a lot of the oddballs, he always came off better in the comic. For whatever reason, it just Larry made him work.
Appeared in.
Right, the one issue he had anything to do in, but like, he didn't seem quite so silly there, and he always looked a little silly. And this is a great figure, mind you. This is for what it is fantastic. You could not ask, if you're a fan of Budo, I don't think you could ask for a better version of Budo. I didn't buy him either. I just, he's not a guy who's, as I start to get a little bit more selective with the classified toys that I buy, Budo ain't making the list. He's cool. He is he is cool, but I don't know. I don't know who I'm putting him on my shelf with. Because I know the Joes, they do ninjas and stuff, but they're kind of like weird, far out space ninjas, not traditional ninjas.
Pair him with Chuckles and make a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you got. Isn't that that's like that Jay Leno Pat Morita movie? What was that? Split Second? Is that what it's called?
Oh man,
maybe, yeah. I don't know. I never saw that one. I tended to gravitate more towards the Gregory Hine, Billy Crystal Running Scared.
Right. Which, the theme song, Cry Sweet Freedom, was the last top 40 song for Michael McDonald. But if you know the title of Collision Course, right? Collision Course. I was going to make people leave us a comment, but be sure to leave us your impressions of the Pat Morita, Jay Leno buddy cop movie Collision Course in the comments down below.
Thank you, Nowhere Man Child, for coming up with Collision Course.
Yeah, I mean, Nowhere Man Child, Jeff Butler is always good for that stuff. Yeah. That having that guy in the live crowd it's like having an encyclopedia on hand. I'd put him on payroll.
There probably is a movie called Split Second with some other unlikely pairing.
Right. I'd put him on payroll, but he's already, right now he's probably the highest paid guy on our show. But
you guys get paid?
Exactly. Jeff's not losing money, so he's making more. Anyways. Moving forward. Out of single figures and into double figures. Somebody for Budo to brawl with. That is, I believe they are called Sliche and Diche.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you got it.
I don't know about that.
They are a
lady tonight.
They are a Pulse exclusive. Checking in at about $55. They are still available on the Pulse when I checked an hour or so ago. Yeah, slice and dice. I really dig those bonus masks. The spare heads. I like them. They don't have anything to do with slice and dice, mind you. But they're fun.
I'm just glad it's slice and dice and not slice and slash. They tried to make that a thing, and it was not a thing.
Nora Manchild asks, "Wait, as a coffee subscriber, aren't I paying you?" Yes, that's true. That is true.
That's a hell of a racket.
Yeah, so I guess we do technically make more than him. But if you would like your name in our closing credits, and loads of other bonuses that we haven't quite figured out yet, be sure to hit up our coffee link down below. I mean, it's tough to do bonus content when all you do is live streams. Because if we just showed up to do live streams for a potential, 23 person audience, that's not gonna draw us very good numbers. It's not really gonna be worth our while. So until we find our way to a video editor, which would be really nice to do, bonus content is maybe not going to be too plentiful, but we'll figure something out when the time comes. Anyways, if you want your name featured in our closing credits every week on the show, just subscribe to our coffee for at least $1 a month. No donation too large, but at least $1 gets it done for you.
They're surprisingly easy to bribe.
Right, you'll see, you'll see them roll through at the end of the program. Racktime Rob, what do you think of Sliche and Diche?
I did order this pack. I do like these guys. This will be like the one Ninja Force purchase I make at a classified, because I feel like these are the guys that Cobra Commander would probably hire after Storm Shadow leaves for the Joes.
Okay.
I need ninjas. Well, there's these two guys. So it takes two guys to make up one Storm Shadow.
Phil, what do you think?
If Slice and Dice opens the door to Road Warrior Zartan, it'll all be worth it. The last 30 years of G.I. Joe for more orange Mohawk Zartan. It's all worth it.
If they do the fluorescent orange 2-pack Dreadnoks with Ninja Force Zartan and Sonic Fighter Road Pig,
Ooh.
I'm in. Okay.
I mean, let's face it.
I believe that is Atlantic City Road Pig.
Right.
Cold Slither Zartan is halfway there. You might not be that far off.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'll all be worth it.
But
But yeah, I like Slice and Dice. I've always kind of dug their gimmicky existence, so I'm happy to have them in 6-inch.
Craig Coan says that not sure if Dice's mask should be blue. That's the alternative one. The real one, the real head is the purple one that we're used to seeing. I believe it's removable. Or no, there's another head with him not wearing the mask. Doug Dello notes
visibility's real low on that, and he just kind of walks into walls.
It's a hot take from Rob. It takes 2 ninjas to make up for the loss of Storm Shadow. That, I suppose that's a hot take, but it's not a reckless hot take.
No.
That is I would call that an accurate hot take.
Yeah.
It's a hot take backed by Marvel Comics continuity.
Firefly says, speaking of support, after the last Joe Slepsky What's on Joe Mind, I started getting Columbo episodes as suggestions on my YouTube feed. I blame you both for this. This is what I get for clicking the like button. I mean, if you're lucky.
You should be thanking us. It's Columbo episodes.
Right. It's a charmed existence. Getting Columbo episodes. That's good TV.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, my wife, she loves the Columbo episodes. You know, have you heard these?
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Just one more thing.
One more question. Yeah. Love Columbo. Still holds up.
Right. It was a good show. It's not quite the Rockford Files, which was a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good. And of course, I was General Hawk in Joe's GI Columbo special episode that he did. So look that up. I think he might have the audio for that on his YouTube channel, but he's definitely got it in his audio feed. So check that one out. Michael Gene Fleming says even this millennial knows that Columbo is good. That's right, man. That's right.
There's been quite a Columbo resurgence thanks to streaming, coming from millennials and stuff. So
right. Well, I mean, it not hurting things either. Is that what's the show? Poker Face on Peacock.
Yeah,
was real good, and a lot of times the reviews that I read of that show were like, this is like a modern day Columbo, and it's not far off in that everything is self-contained, and there's lots of celebrity guest stars and all that.
Mm-hmm. And
so
and Natasha Lyonne sounds like Columbo.
Right. Her voice is raspy like Peter Falk's, and so
she has both eyes though.
Right, for now.
It's just the squint one. It's a character,
and it's the mystery format that they call a how catch 'em, where you see how the crime happens and you're brought along by how they catch the person.
Right. It bothers or bothers. It borrows a lot of elements from Columbo. Barking Fridge making the same comparison with Elsbeth on CBS, which I haven't seen, but I hear good things about. So, yeah, no, Columbo's great TV. I absolutely, if you ever got an afternoon to kill, and it's raining outside or whatever, and you got 2 hours of nothing to do, find yourself a Columbo. That's good. That's good watching. But
and you'll feel smart because you'll have cracked the case in the first 10 minutes.
Hey, that guy did it. It was Robert Culp again.
It's always that damn Robert Culp.
Every 5th episode, Robert Culp did it.
Right? And playing a different guy. Excuse me, sir. Why do you look like everybody else in this universe?
Now, Martin Landau is 3 people. Yeah.
I've busted Nimoy twice.
One time you had to the pointy ears, but that was very confusing.
So Phil, did you buy Slice and Dice?
I did, yes.
Rectime Rob, you're in for Slice and Dice.
I did buy Slice and Dice, yes.
I have not purchased Slice and Dice. I may wind up pulling the trigger on them going forward. I don't know.
They made the orange Slice and the Cobra Red Ninja.
I'm kind of torn at this point, so because I do have a gaggle of ninjas that I could have them posing with on my shelf and have Snake Eyes kicking their ass or whatever. But anyways, we'll figure it out. My existential crisis on G.I. Joe Classified shouldn't bother anybody else's hobby. And finally, on today's pre-order extravaganza, we got the MMS with Colonel Hawk, and the MMS is a recolor of the HMS, which was based on the MMS. Which got an HMS back in the O-ring days, but anyways, that's neither here nor there. So if you got the HMS, this isn't any different. It's just green.
It's in its original green.
So
it does not sing the Pirates of Penzance. So.
It does not. No. But what folks are talking about here is Colonel Hawk, and for a guy who was arguably the worst figure from 1982 and 1983, certainly the most boring figure. They did him up right this time, and Lord knows he is strapped.
When he fires off those missiles, he's still heavily armed.
Right. He's got the Stalker submachine gun. He's got the M16. He's got the Snow Job laser rifle. So
XMLR3.
He can fight you Marvel style. He can fight you Sunbow style. He don't care. He's just here to shoot things. Racktime Rob, as somebody that I can verify was collecting G.I. Joe in 1982.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think I like this a little bit better than the one in 82. Because, like you said, Hawk is strapped.
He is loaded. And Greg Augustin notes, most importantly, flat top.
He has a flat top, like he's an extra in a Kid and Play movie. It's just,
yeah. We were watching this one. We were watching the stream together, and I turned to you and said, "That is a very Herb Trimpe Colonel Hawk."
Yes,
and it is like he is jumping off of the pages of those early issues. Of
absolutely.
You think he'll swap the head with the 86 Hawk and give him the blonde 86 Hawk?
Wouldn't bother me. Joe ARH says, "Are those all the guns missing from Breaker and the Vamp?" Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Hey, Clutch came with some stuff.
Yeah, Clutch was not completely hopeless like poor Breaker, but
yeah.
poor
shotgun, right?
poor Breaker. You could at least bust open that he had the minigun.
Yeah, but
with
no ammo in it. I mean, Clutch had that shotgun and his pistol. It's
yeah. He's got some stuff.
Yeah,
but I know there's lots of live comment chats lamenting the 82 Joes, which still haven't been made. We'll relax, everybody. Just in through the nose, out through the mouth.
This is the first of three, at least 4, at least.
Classified still selling real well. They'll get there. We got another live stream next week. God knows what's coming then. Notice no retro offerings this particular week. I wonder who that's going to get. Anyways, Phil Donnelly.
Yes, sir. We've
been ignoring you for 5 or 6 minutes now.
I demand attention.
What do you think of the MMS with Colonel Hawk?
I kind of would prefer just the General Hawk by itself, but if I have to get an MMS with it, I will pre-order it. So that's. But I like the head sculpt. I do think it is very Marvel comic booky, yeah, and I actually kind of dig the little microphone on the helmet too, even if it's not quite accurate to the original figure. But they're doing some modernization takes to it. I can dig it.
Right. Look, man, if they could do that at that time, they would have for Hawk, right? He's the field general. Field leader, rather. He needs to be able to talk to people.
He's keeping in touch with the troops.
That's right.
Breaker needed to be talking to somebody.
Right. Jason Rose notes, I like how they said they tried to make it look like a younger version of General Hawk. Yeah, I mean, it's the same guy, sure. You figure somewhere down the road his hair got darker, you want to make him look kind of the same.
He bleaches it.
Once he lets it grow out, it lets all the melanin flow. It just recirculates. He's got luscious locks.
He's using Just for Men with a touch of gray.
Right? Looks so natural. No one can tell. Just 5 minutes. But just like Phil. Yeah, I'm a lot more stubbly than I look because it's all gray down here. So
it's camouflaged.
Right. I just keep it. I trim it down with the beard trimmer, and because one of the benefits of my middle age has been developing skin worse than when I was a teenager. Anyways,
plot twist.
So MMS with Hawk is an Amazon and online retailer exclusive. It is around $75. It is sold out on Pulse, but again, should be available in any number of other places for you. So don't stress out if you go to Pulse and it's not there. It's Pulse. They're out of everything that's not Pulse. Sometimes they're out of the stuff that's Pulse. But Barking Fridge says Dr. Mindbender messed with the Joe shampoo supply. CoverGirl and Hawk were the first to find out. Well, there you go.
That's why you don't trust an orthodontist with your hair.
Looks so natural. No one can tell.
It looks so natural. Only your orthodontist knows for sure.
Racktime Rob, what about the MMS? You get yourself one of these?
I did.
How about you, Phil?
Yes, I did.
All right, excellent. I didn't, just because I don't know at this point. The vehicles are hard. They're difficult. I don't have I don't have a spot for the ones I have.
There's always room on the ceiling.
Is there though?
Ceilings.
Is there? I don't think there is. We don't have low ceilings, Rob. We have too much crap.
It's an optical illusion.
Right. It's just too much crap. Oh, goodness. But Greg Augusta notes that's Barking Fridge is how that's how that explains 91 Lowlight. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. That was, you know,
and Outback and Tiger Force Outback.
91 Lowlight, I don't feel was a real bad figure. I kind of like him, except it really just throws me that this very blonde guy showed up with just jet dark hair and the full beard. It bothered me. It just bothered me.
You saw a commercial with Keith Hernandez and Walt Clyde Frazier.
Right.
Then there's Outback, who looks like he went through 3 stages of extreme stress.
He was just out in the sun too much.
It went gray.
And then once the show was over, once the live stream was done, Emily came back on and gave us some tidbits about the next G.I. Joe Haslab project. She revealed that the project will be revealed at the end of Yojo June. So we got a few weeks before we know what it is. Although I'm gonna say that we probably already know, based on the other things that she was saying. The Haslab logo was presented with light snow falling around it, and Emily used several words and phrases that imply it will be a cold weather vehicle. So I think those of us that were oh so positive this was a Mauler are out. I think my smart ass self saying it was a Thunder Machine is out. And I mean, her telling us to stay frosty says to me that this is a snowcat, isn't it?
Haslab Avalanche, lock it in. It's gonna shoot discs the size of coasters.
Oh man, look, that would be awesome.
That would be
Take out somebody's eye.
Yeah, I imagine if it's going to be a snowcat, which I think is the betting favorite now. They're probably going to have to beef it up a bit to make it Haslab worthy, like they did with the Hiss.
Right. But that's what I figure. Like having something the size of the Hiss, or rather having something that's the size of the snowcat and making that comparable to a Hiss really isn't that far off. I mean, the snowcat's a half-track vehicle, so it's big, right? Even back in '85, that sucker carried how many Joes on it comfortably?
12.
I think you could get
10.
I think it was 10.
Yeah, 10. But they're all riding on the outside on the rails, freezing their
Look,
jet
man.
off. But
Look,
And I think one guy gets launched off with a ski pedo. So
right.
Yeah, you do have to shoot the ski pedos to get most of those guys on there.
It's no worse than hanging around on the skids of a Skyhawk, so I don't want to hear it.
No, it's better.
And Doug Dello asked the inevitable question, which I was going to pose to you, gentlemen. What figures will come with it other than Frostbite? I think Winter Stalker would be awesome. I also think Winter Stalker would be awesome.
I think Winter Stalker would be awesome. I think Winter Stalker is the type of guy you could sell.
That I agree with as well. But let's start with Phil. Yeah. Phil, so Frostbite is a given. And
Iceberg seems like the next logical choice, but Blizzard would not be a bad
Let
idea.
me finish my presentation here, man. So Frostbite is a given, and a tier of patches is a given. So that leaves us 2 spots for figures. Let's say that there's a Snowcat coming with a total of 3. Who would your other 2-man crew for the Snowcat be?
Oh, I guess there we go. Iceberg and Blizzard.
Okay.
They give us Quinn.
Ragtime Rob?
Now that I said, Winter Stalker's a guy they could sell. Looking back at what they've done for other Haslabs, they tend, like, the thing that knocks me out of thinking it might be Iceberg or Blizzard is an original character like that, unless it's the vehicle driver or some obscure repaint, tends not to be something that they like to lock behind a potential paywall.
Okay.
So I don't know if Iceberg or Blizzard would be candidates just because they're original characters. Which makes me think maybe Winter Stalker. Who knows?
Yeah, my thinking on Iceberg and Blizzard is there's too much mainline appeal. Like, Iceberg is a character that people are already clamoring for, and Blizzard is just a dude that you could make him a deluxe figure just because the original came with so much stuff that you could knock him out of the park at the $35 mark with
He's a pretty gimmicky figure, but same with the Arctic Stalker with the kayak.
Right, but like that kayak it's larger than the stuff that Blizzard came with, but it's 2 pieces of plastic, right? Like making a kayak.
But I mean, that's
easy.
about the size as the Crocmaster's crocodile. You could put him in one of the deluxe categories.
I think you might get like winter versions of maybe, if you're not getting that Tundra Ranger Stalker, you might get winter versions of maybe some Joes that have come out already.
I would say Wind Chill and Cold Front, but that would require too much new tooling, I think, for a Haslab.
And they're too obscure.
But those are the kinds of figures you'd want for a Haslab, where they wouldn't feel left out.
Right. I think one of them is a possibility, and then you just use a lot of those parts for the other one somewhere else in the line, right? Like if you
could probably figure out Wind Chill to reuse parts from him.
Right. Like if he comes with Avalanche and excuse me, And then Windchill is the guy who shows up with the polar battle bear or something. Or you take a lot of the snow job parts and you make Whiteout, who was part of that 2000 line. But I think the other guy would be somebody like Duke or like Flint in that fur-lined overcoat that they put them in for Arctic missions back in the old Sunbow cartoon.
I think, yeah, you might get like a Duke or a Flint, and then the other one could be a Lady J or a Scarlet. Because they do tend to like to throw a female figure in with these two.
Sure. But again, I think they'll do it once. I'm not sure they'll do that twice. You do that sort of thing twice where it's just the same character with a coat. I think people start crying foul.
Yeah, but maybe they up the ante and just do a nice winter design on those guys. Who knows?
Or they could give us Fun School Iceberg.
Tiger Force Iceberg.
Yes.
With the blue and the pink hat.
Tiger Force Yellow Snow Iceberg.
Right. Tiger Force Blizzard.
Oh, yeah, Blizzard. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Who codenamed Yellow Snow. I think he's made an appearance on our Instagram feed. I'll have to go back and look. But I actually, he goes in my work bag. I take him to work with me every day. It's my one international Tiger Force guy. It's Blizzard. Dave Tree, some years ago, our friend at All the Cool Stuff. Visit him at allthecoolstuff.co.uk. Gave me a junker Tiger Force Blizzard back when that was a $20 figure. And now it's even in the condition it's in
80
to 100. Ridiculous. Some of that stuff's just nuts. But yeah, so be sure to give us what you think a 3-man crew for a Snowcat would be in the big boy comments down below. Don't put them in the live chat comments. I'm not putting them on the screen. Put them in the big boy comments down below.
Mail order Sub-Zero and Fun School Iceberg. That way you get those figures out and you do regular versions.
No one's happy at all.
There we go.
I think this line is dead before you get Cold Front and so.
Right. They may not be as difficult as you think to make with what's already out there. That snow job figure was a pretty functional polar guy, was with the hood and all that stuff. So you could repurpose some of that into parts for those guys.
It would be the place to put in Arctic Snake Eyes too.
Yeah.
Jason Rose is throwing in Quinn. I think that would be a strange place to put a guy
who's not a Joe.
Right, not a Joe, kind of obscure unless you're a longtime fan of the comic, and a lot of the classified fan base doesn't know about the cartoon, doesn't know about the Marvel comic. They came to Classified because they were done collecting Star Wars Black, and Marvel Universe started to get so obscure. They collect G.I. Joe Classified because it's a 6-inch toy line. So sometimes the deep cuts aren't necessarily what the classified fans are looking for. But Quinn is such a distinctive body. Like, he's huge. He is a giant muscular man. And you would be making essentially a B version of him in his cold weather gear, when most of the time you saw him in his
safari,
safari gear.
His safari khakis.
Right. So I would love to see it. I just don't think that they're going to spend the money on tooling there.
There any European exclusive snow characters?
Andrew Galgan says the only problem was that Snow Job was a Pulse exclusive and deluxe, hard to army build. That doesn't have. I'm talking about using the parts to build Polar Troopers for a Haslab. So Hasbro is not going to have that problem.
Whiteout would be good there, but it is kind of hard to make him look distinctive from Snow Job.
Right. You know, but I'm just thinking of that, like that removable hood. You could repurpose real easy, give it a blue edge, and that's Windchill's hood, right? So, I mean, hopefully you don't go straight neon blue. That would be kind of crummy, but anyhow, again, give us your 3-man Snowcat crew in the big boy comments down below, and we'll tell you that you're right, and maybe even that you're wrong. Probably that you're wrong. That's not.
Well, that's a dumb choice.
We'll find out in weeks, regardless.
We'll find out soon enough.
I think Matt Rubin's got the best idea.
Right there, winter quick kick with no boots.
Without boots.
But still with the chocolate bar accessory.
Bart, winter gung-ho with his open jacket. Winter gung-ho with no jacket.
Yeah.
That was just regular gung-ho. He didn't change his costume for that at all.
Yeah, issue 11 was no coat.
Yeah. No coat, no shirt.
No nothing. Just showing off his crazy Marine tattoo.
It's annoying rock and roll.
And that is the end of today's Hasbro Pulse live stream. Again, give us your impressions in the big boy comments down below.
I was going to say they could go totally opposite and give us the least Arctic figure of the original line, but that would be E Honda. They don't have the license for that.
He's not the least. He's blubbered up. He's good.
In terms of clothing, though.
Believe me, us big folk, we don't get cold nearly as easy.
I think figure 6-packs hit it.
Arctic Recondo and Jungle Snow Job. That's right. Next news item. Hard to believe, but there's news items.
That can't be right.
Hey, look, it's Skybound Comics. Out today. G.I. Joe Real American Hero 317. That's right. It's the latest issue of what is affectionately known as the Hamaverse. I don't know who affectionately calls it that. I don't like that. It's just G.I. Joe Real American Hero. Larry Hama at the controls, Paul Pelletier, Tony Cordos on art duties, colors by the Eisner-nominated Francesco Segala. And again, that is available to you today. So if you weren't able to get to your local comic shop, be sure to do so very soon and get it in your hot little hands before Racktime Rob gets it all.
Why would you do that, Racktime Rob?
Spite.
Craig Cohan is saying, thanks, fellas, for a good time. Off to bed. It's the last day of school before summer break. Craig Cohan, round of applause.
All right, you made the finish line.
You got there, man. You got there.
Good luck tomorrow.
Don't flunk it.
Michael Gene Fleming also on his way out. Hate to bail. I have to send. I'm going to need all the money, so I better go to bed so I survive working tomorrow. Good night. We appreciate you, Gene. Thank you so much for stopping in. Nowhere Man Child notes that Dr. Mindbender really loves that gun so much.
He just loves his shiny new head.
Chrome
Right.
dome.
Literally. His shiny metal top.
He stuck it in the Ballo Shino.
But those of us who, or he can, those of us who follow Larry Hama on Facebook got to see that sketch that he put together of this new take on Mindbender last week sometime. So it was kind of neat seeing that in advance. That is a Larry design. So don't if you like it, give Larry your credit. If you don't like it, don't blame Paul Pelletier. The Gunny saying that he spent 3 Februaries in a row in a Marine base in Norway in an Arctic brigade. Good Lord, man.
Was this like a Groundhog Day situation?
Marines in the cold work well. Look, somebody's got to. Somebody's got to. So again, we don't have spoilers for you because I haven't read it yet. I think maybe Racktime Rob has, but I'll just cut him off if he starts talking about it. So yeah, go ahead and check this out with Dr. Mindbender and his new metal scalp and his own Ballo Shino.
You have to refer to it as the Balo Shino.
Oh, did you stick your head in the ball of Shino? No. All right.
Polish your head in the ball of Shino. No. And he stops, fixes his hair in the reflection, and then walks away.
Well, all right then.
We should all have a boss that trusting, right? Also coming up from Skybound, well, I guess May 28th is past, isn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I did this really late. But also...
more news as it happens.
Available in your hot little hands today, the first volume of the G.I. Joe trade paperback that is collecting Energon G.I. Joe issues 1 through 6. So if you are looking for the trades, this is your time. Grab them now. Next week, Codename G.I. Joe Deluxe Hardcover Volume 1 hits the stands. That is the hardcover collection of the Duke and Cobra Commander miniseries. And then also Transformers 21.
It's finally old enough to drink.
Greg Augustin asks, it's going to be May? No.
I mean, eventually.
Right. Eventually. In another 11 months.
It's gonna be May.
Rob is disappointed that I found a way to work that in.
Ah, yes, my nightmares.
Next news item.
Doot, 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 doot.
Good Lord. Okay. So to give everybody some backdrop, I was working on this stuff until maybe a half an hour before showtime, and then the file didn't want to upload into StreamYard, so we got some goofy stuff going on our slideshow tonight. I apologize. Not this last one. I just flat out forgot to change that one. That's on me. But this one, yeah, I don't know what it's doing there. I don't know.
There was a fan stream today.
What? So anyways, down below in our description, you will also see the link to Jamie Sullivan's GoFundMe. According to Jamie on his Facebook feed this past week, they are still short about $9,000 on the surgery that he needs to save his foot. So I know we just watched a lot of money go out the door. A lot of pre-orders came through. But that's also that's a good excuse to spend maybe $5 more and send it out towards Jamie. Because again, dude's trying to keep his foot in his leg. And he has provided a lot of G.I. Joe artwork for you over the years. So yeah, you know, $1, $2, $5. That's not too much to ask in return, right? Let's help a guy out. Let's do our best to get the Sullivans over that threshold that they need so they can go ahead with Jamie's foot surgery. So again, the link for that is down below in the description. While you're down there, do all that cool YouTube stuff. And then once we're done, go ahead and click Jamie's link right there. And just whatever you got to spare. If you got money for toys, you got money to save a dude's foot, right? Right?
One hopes.
Stands to reason. Otherwise, you're spending toy money, rent money on toys, and that's no good. Cobra Emperor 6 asks, what's wrong with his foot and leg? I would say click on the link, and his family will give you the entire story there. So again, link down below. Please click it and be generous. We appreciate you. Jamie appreciates you even more. Next news item. Hey, still available at the What's on Joe Mind swag shop, although not on its crazy sale. But our new F-14 14th anniversary design. We went minimalist. It's just an outline of the F-14. Better we know it better as a Sky Striker, with our logo and the number 14 on top. But just something a little something to mix it up and celebrate 14 years of What's on Joe Mind. It is there at the swag shop. Link is down below in the description. Dak Nomad says, ain't spending on toys, they're pre-orders. Well, oh, goodness. So, man. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And lastly, give me some dudes, Rob. We've got lots of potential leaked images, so make sure you're keeping an eye on the surveillance board.
You still in the chat there, Eric?
I haven't seen him in a bit, and it's not like him to be quiet. So my guess is he's checked out.
All right.
But he's tired, man. But surveillance-port.com is there for you with all of your G.I. Joe daily news and lots of images that get leaked across the internet and his shady sources. We really don't have time for him here most of the time. And truthfully, for a 2-hour show, I can't dedicate I can't dedicate 5 minutes to an image of a leg of a guy we knew was coming 6 months ago. But if you really want to see the details on it, Surveillance Port's a great place to go and study it to your heart's content. So keep it as a favorite in your browser, surveillance-port.com. That's right. It's right there on the screen. Don't worry about the spelling. Take a screen cap. Get it for later. Surveillance-port.com.
Yeah.
Cobra Emperor 6 says it better come in XXX, XXX plus sizes. Our t-shirts are sold up to 5X. So again, click on the link and a lot of your questions will be answered. 610 Yo Joe Daddy says, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's up indeed? How are you? Welcome to the show, sir.
Apparently he is.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
Joe Fan 84 says, I fell asleep in my chair like an old geezer. Sorry, man.
Oh, so the 84 was your age. Okay.
Come forget us all. Right. Jason Rose says they are roomy and actually the size they say they are. So good. There we go. People speaking well of our t-shirts. We have sold a decent number of t-shirts, right? I keep making jokes about the swag shop, but folks like the t-shirts. We got other stuff there too, hats and stickers and mouse pads and all kinds of cool stuff. So whatever, if you like our designs, you can get them on any number of different things. But Racktime Rob I think he's gone to bed.
He's turned into a CD.
No idea what's going on there. But Phil, you want to give us some doots? All right. And lastly, of course, the G.I. Joe 3D Printing Podcast is proud to present Chunky Tank Kitty and his Mallard Tank. Mark and Mike and Archwan celebrate the love of the new hobby of G.I. Joe 3D printing over on their podcast. You'll find a link to it on our page. If you're on our channel page, I guess you could call it. We got a link to them there. So be sure to check them out once we're done. They are on the air themselves every couple of weeks at least. If you're just starting out or if you're advanced, they have a show for you. So be sure to check them out. Anything and everything you could possibly want to know about G.I. Joe or about 3D printing for your G.I. Joe hobby. And that's the news. I wasn't fishing for doots. I just couldn't find the button.
Well, I had to fill the air.
Right. Be right back after a message from our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys. Stay with us.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
That's right, and we're back. Hey.
Most of us, at least.
Hey. Right. Rob made it too. We knew we'd get here eventually.
At last, I'm in the top row. Oh.
And you're back. Look, the bottom row, the guests go in the bottom row because that's where all the clutter isn't. So the bottom row is actually the better place. We used to put Joe in the bottom row because do you want dumb icons to block me, to block Mark, or to block Joe? You want them to block our stupid heads. You know, we'd rather have Joe on screen. So, you know,
I was living high once.
Right?
Just for a moment. Top of the world, Ma.
So I guess the question here, because I think a lot of folks were expecting more from today's Yojo June live stream. So, Phil, kind of an obtuse take on this, but give us your feelings on what we saw today overall.
I am happy if they're piecing them out as snippets, if we're going to be getting updates every single week this month, because if they're revealing like 10 things at a time every week, that's too much. So yeah. I'm good with what they put out. I am pleased with the choices. Not everything for me, but for the ones that were for me, I appreciate them. I'm good with that.
Rock time, Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what else we see this month. I imagine there's probably a wave of your regular figures in there somewhere. So
one would think, right?
And we've got a Haslab to unwrap.
Right, that'll be at the end of the month. I mean, last year Yojo June was what? They did a big live stream at the beginning. I think they came on and did like a little live stream in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
And then they announced the Haslab at the end of the month.
Well, no, they announced that. Well, I think they announced the
Haslab would be coming at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
I think we only got two live streams last year. So
yeah, it wasn't much of a thing. So I'm glad they're spacing it out, spreading it out a little bit.
I think Dustin Jeffries got probably accurate on one of the weeks.
Right. He's calling his shot on. We'll probably do a live Rattler unboxing. That would be cool.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see Lenny's eyes get big, like he's a 9-year-old kid again. So,
especially because it sounds like they'll be going out into the mail around that time. So
right. So, but like you said, Rob, I think it's a very good observation. You got to look at what we didn't see today, right? There were no retro figures today. There were no basic level figures today. Mm-hmm. The $25 price point guys. There weren't any of them today. And there was still a pretty decent cross section. Like we got the MMS for the folks that are clamoring for the really old school guys. And we got Slice and Dice who are there for maybe more of the newer fans who jumped on in the late 80s and the 90s, like Phil and his insufferable youth.
My back doesn't hurt quite as badly as yours.
I think that just goes without saying. From having to carry the rest of you bastards around.
Mr. Bitter.
Anyways.
This is why everybody keeps thinking I'm the younger one.
Right. No, it's your general positive outlook is what keeps people going. But no, Rob is the older one. Everybody, just so you know, I was the second of Mrs. Irizarry's baby boys. Similarly, we didn't see anything from Super 7 today. I don't know if we would see a whole lot of that in the Hasbro Pulse live streams, but they've made reference to things before. So there's just all kinds of things missing, and I think that's what we have to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. I'm personally thrilled that it wasn't just this huge dump of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I prep time is at a bit of a premium. If you don't want shows on Thursday, then yeah.
I'm just happy there's a little bit of budgetability there.
So Phil, we'll come back to you on this one. What do you think we will see next week for the next week's Hasbro Pulse live stream?
Either a wave of retros or the next mainline wave, I think is probably a good bet in there somewhere.
So
they've already told us what the next wave of retros is going to be.
Yeah, we've only seen the renders. They could have a.
I know those were going to be the next ones. So
right.
We may get the So there's not going to be any retro surprises. But yeah, I think you're right. And though they'll probably put those up for pre-order, and then they'll let us know what the next wave of basic figures is.
I think you guys know where I'm going with this.
Reckless Hot Take! Reckless Hot Take!
That's right. I want reckless hot takes.
That's what the copyright friendly sound likes.
That's what. Look, man. That Paul Sidaway did that for us originally. That's not me. That's not me scoping around for music. That some dude wrote that for me. I got to put that in the show. It's got a real Letterman vibe to it. I dig reckless hot takes, but Phil Donnelly, I want 3 names. Since the rest of G.I. Joe YouTube is going crazy and predicting figures which will not see the light of day this month, why don't you give me 3 of your own? Give me the Phil Donnelly top 3 wish list for Yojo June 2025.
Clean sweep, Sky Zone, and
if you're not going to take this seriously, then you're out.
Well,
Wreck Time Rob.
You wanted a reckless hot take, and that, of course, can only be Tiger Force Gold.
Reckless Hot Take!
See, that's what we're here for.
You wanted reckless. I was going reckless.
You were managing to give us reckless cold takes, Phil.
I'm still waiting on a hit and run. I think we need one of those.
Okay, so hit and run. That is officially
Reckless Hot Take!
There we go.
Who else we got, Phil? That's 1.
Let's see. If we're going Budo, then we're pulling from 1988 era, late 80s. So I gotta recall my guys first. It's been a while, man.
Phil used to be the number 2 guy at yojo.com, by the way.
I did used to be, yes. Nagahide. There we go. There's another.
Reckless Hot Take!
We already got Nagahide.
That's what made that reckless.
It's a reissue.
Reckless, all right.
It's a reckless take again.
Payload. There we go.
He's got a pig and a monkey. Come on, man.
That's right. Payload. There we go. We can get more astronauts in the line.
More like an astronaut.
Yeah.
1 is greater than 0. That's still more. And
if they're going to put a vehicle driver in the main line, that's not a bad choice, just simply because it's an astronaut.
And I'm sure
then you could pair it with Countdown.
His lovely powder blue uniform will sell like hotcakes.
Sorry, I cut out for the second there. What was that?
Said his lovely powder blue uniform will sell like hotcakes.
You're thinking of Hardtop.
Oh, that's right. I am. Sorry.
It depends on which version of Payload. You get the Star Brigade.
I like Countdown and his grappling hook.
Yeah, Countdown is a fun one.
He's an astronaut and a spelunker.
And let's see, who would make a good third one from the late 80s era? Let's say Repeater.
Reckless Hot Take!
Rack Time Rob.
Let's say, I don't know how reckless this is, but maybe we finally see Flash.
Reckless Hot Take!
We have all his gear. We just need something to put him on.
Go on.
I'm going to go with, let's say,
Mainframe.
Reckless Hot Take!
All the time we're spending in between is just killing the hot part of this. Go on, Rob. Give me one more. Against my better judgment, one more.
Regular old ripcord.
Reckless hot take!
It's like regular old Rudy from Bob's Burgers.
Yep.
But
Regular
I
height
think,
Rudy.
I think you're right on about Ripcord. I think the fact that we've got Night Force Ripcord sitting on our shelves for a while now, and just no sign of regular Ripcord, I think he's a gimme here in the budget conscious version of G.I. Joe Classified that we call 2025. I'm also going to double up on Flash.
Reckless hot take!
Because that's what I have to do. It's kind of become a trademark at this point.
Watch them put out a Grand Slam in the orange pads with Flash's gear just to annoy you.
We got Sunbow CoverGirl before we got Flash, for Christ's sake. That's just wrong. And I'm on board with Sunbow CoverGirl. For the record, I'm in favor. But come on now, it's Flash. Everybody's favorite figure from 1982.
You'll get an update of Rise of Cobra BDSM, Flash, and you'll like it.
All right, that was tough. I was not a huge fan of the under mask. Like the rest of that figure, I was okay with. It was a little red.
Yeah,
it was a little red, but the gimp mask underneath was a little much.
Reckless hot take!
I don't know how reckless that is.
no, that's not even really a hot take. I think a lot of people looked at it.
Just a take.
Keep that away from the Bruce Willis figure. That's all I'm saying.
Right. That's interesting. He's got a helmet. But as for the third one, I think we're going to get a proper or closer to proper version 2 Roadblock, simply because it's been a while since we've seen a Roadblock.
Reckless hot take!
Everybody hates me now. I've just
Go Renegade and give you 92 Roadblock with eye gouging action.
Look, man, 92 Roadblock was a great figure.
It
The
is.
The fact that his little disc shooter probably killed 7 and maimed dozens. Now that we can't control, but and Flash, as Falcone says, Flash could double as another astronaut for you, Phil.
Yes, Anthony Flash Gambello.
Right? He saved the world.
He'll save every one of us. But then he'll die in the crisis.
Nowhere Manchild says if they announce a Flash figure, they'll likely get a call in What's on Joe Mind from Mr. Tony Gambello again. Look, again, we have a phone number. It is down in the description below. If you want to leave voicemails, I'll play your voicemails. We do viewer mail all the time. We pull letters from the post sock. If you want to leave me a voicemail instead, we got a phone number, folks. It's right down there.
I'm just really worried about the eventual return of her from Rhode Island.
as with everything, we reserve the right to edit as we see fit. But yeah, don't be a dick.
555. That's got to be fake.
Don't be a dick and have fun with it, and might just get on the show. Who knows?
444-3444.
This is the G.I. Joe show that launched 1,000 G.I. Joe shows. Everybody thinks that what we do is so simple that they're going to try it for themselves. And where are they now? Probably doing something smarter than this, but here I am.
I made a video about Disneyland, so
And a key.
Yeah.
Oh, give us your reckless hot takes on what we're going to see next week in the big boy comments down below. Phil Donnelly, you're our guest this week.
Yes, sir.
Did you get anything cool?
I think so. First, we'll get out of the way that the most recent wave of retros finally came in for me from Pulse in 2 different packages, because I know Hasbro Pulse hates to save money on shipping.
Well, look, they're getting what they can to you as expediently as possible.
They mailed them like 2 days apart.
And they're not charging you any extra.
They aren't. I don't know how that model stays profitable.
I don't know what to tell you, Phil. So
And
retro
then I
rock
also-
and roll, retro Vipers, and retro Dr. Mindbender for those at home.
Yes, I should. I should
those-
have spaced that better so you could see all the bubbles.
For those checking us out on audio, as sometimes people do. When I remember to post the audio episodes, people listen to them. I haven't been that good at that lately. It's been busy on this end. But go on, Phil. I'm sorry.
And then I also got an Iron Fist and Carnivac 2-pack in the other day. So, robots, which I'm really more interested in Iron Fist than I am Carnivac, because if they're going to give us pretenders, I want them to be pretenders. I know it's probably logistically impossible to get pretenders in the way that we want them, but, you know, the Headmaster is not a pretender.
I got Iron Fist and Power Man.
Right. That doesn't look anything like Danny Rand. So
Yeah.
He sometimes calls himself Physitron because of, you know, Disney.
Trademarks.
That sounds dirtier.
There you go. You know, it's Physitron, not Fistitron.
Mm-hmm. Sure it is. Sure it is, Phil.
He hangs out with Hedonism Bot.
But
Ooh,
oh, zombie.
delightful.
I regret nothing.
Hedonism Bot. Greatest obscure Futurama character of them all. But is that it, Phil? Is that all you got? I think Phil locked up.
I think Phil's frozen.
I'm back now.
Okay.
All right.
You pulled a Brian Lauer on us and locked up, Phil. I think you did it again.
And yet, you know, it's
As there was a full 3 seconds of Phil looking constipated on the screen. I figured Phil was either locked up or having a really good fart. But
We're a really bad.
sometimes it's the pressure builds.
or a really bad one. Rack time, Rob, what'd you get in?
Well, kind of the same thing as Phil.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
And I didn't get Dr. Mindbender because I got him the first time.
no. He is not all that substantially different. I will grant you that.
Yeah, I think what's the big difference? The Cobra logo on the back of the cape. That's it.
Less accessories.
Yeah. Doesn't have as much cool stuff.
No hand in a jar.
Yeah, but you know,
Hey.
Matt Rubin asks, Hedonism Bots, what's the combiner's name? Pervitron? They don't stop long enough to give themselves a name.
Yes.
Yes. That's the best part of that voice, right? You go, oh, yes. And then he's got the excited mode, right? Oh, yes. It's beautiful.
I
They
wish
don't make
I
them
could
like
actually
that
remember a quote of his right now, but it's been a while since I watched Futurama.
all you need to remember is I regret nothing.
I regret nothing.
I regret nothing.
The zombie, the chocolate sauce.
What else you got, Rob?
That's it.
All right. I did a thing. I went and got some more beachhead. So
Never would have guessed that.
right at some point I'll give everybody a count and take some pictures. But again, I've been trying to get organized on this end, so the photo area is a little cluttered at the moment. We'll get there. We'll get there soon. But I promise we'll get back to the beach party count before too long.
We should make people guess.
Right. You know, I'm
Seven.
not even going to say throw that in the big boy comments. I think we'll save that for an official contest. I think we'll give away some prize swag for that.
I think it would be in the one giant jar.
No, they will not be in the one giant jar. That's a wonderful idea, but I don't have a jar big enough.
Yes. The winner will be the closest without going over. Price is Right rules.
Although I do have a mostly clear plastic tub.
It's the jar of beach heads. Jar heads.
You know, Phil, that's a wonderful idea.
Hey.
Next time I rant and say that you don't contribute anything, tell me I'm a liar. You've earned it.
So I wait about 15 seconds then?
Yep.
All right.
About 2 minutes after the end of the show.
He's got to be able
So-
to say it public. So next time.
I'm very nice to Phil in private for everybody who's wondering. It's only in public that I abuse him.
I
So
walked into a door.
come on now. Don't make that joke. Come on now. Come on now. That hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's aged well.
shout outs, Phil Donnelly.
As always, shouting out Patrick Stewart. He's the other half of our Articulated Points channel. That's where I go off and make videos about Disneyland under the guise of a G.I. Joe podcast. It's my channel, and I'm going to do with it what I want.
I feel better about our John Candy content now. What else you got, Phil?
Get into the nitty gritty, real detail oriented about stuff that's not always G.I. Joe. I'll just put it up front. But we are, we circle back to G.I. Joe rather routinely. So if that's your
I would
thing,
say you do more G.I. Joe than anything else, although you do offer wonderfully entertaining deep dives on other lines as well.
we like to do the deep dives. We like to get into the nitty gritty because, that's our special interest, and we hope it specially interests you.
So weird stuff, crazy
Yeah.
stuff, sometimes leather-bound stuff, articulated points.
That's for the after 9 o'clock broadcast.
Ooh,
Are
yeah.
you articulated points?
It's a-
Muffled points. Anyway,
So Phil will just be walking around in a tuxedo with a martini, listening to jazz.
Either this is
Coltrane was
either this is articulated points after dark or Miami public access television.
You decide.
No, we're a man-child. Watch for the nitty, stay for the gritty.
Nobody should stay for the gritty. He haunts my dreams.
right.
You got anything else, Phil?
Something with the
That's
flyers.
all for me tonight.
My God, we've ruined that,
I've derailed the show enough.
right? Ooh. Anytime you show up and take shout-outs down a peg. Ragtime Rob, who we shouting out?
Let's shout out the studio audience. Thank you for tuning in. Phil, thanks for coming on tonight.
Against my better judgment, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You continue to exercise poor judgment and come on. Just like the rest of all these people listening at home.
I gave him over a week's notice this time. Like normally
I know.
I'm asking Phil like Monday.
He had a whole week to back out, and he's
Right. He still showed up. Like he reminded me, hey, you have a link for the show? And like, oh crap, we got to do a show. So yeah, like it was Phil's really been on it this week.
He was really busy cursing at the computer this afternoon.
Who else you got, Ragtime Rob?
That's it.
All right. I will reiterate Rob's shout outs to both Phil Donnelly, our wonderful guest host. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Shout out to Hedonism Bot.
Shout out to Hedonism Bot. Shout out to our wonderful audience at home catching us live. We appreciate you guys coming back week after week after week. Good crowd tonight. We love every single one of you and wish you made it back more often. If you're catching us on replay, we love you too. You count just as much the same. But whatever you do, make sure that you're taking a minute here, hitting the YouTube buttons. Click that like button if you haven't by now. Click that subscribe button if you haven't by now. Let's face it, if you're watching this deep into the video, they're already going to recommend us to you for the rest of your God-born life. So you might as well just subscribe. Just make it easy on yourself. If you're one of our
inevitable.
If you're one of our audio listeners, we appreciate you too. Make sure you're leaving us a nice review wherever you get your podcasts. I should remember to post this one somewhere in the next 6 to 8 weeks. So it won't be too far into the summer by the time that happens. But a quick note on the future of the program. I do have another shift in my schedule coming up. So we will see if we continue to roll on Wednesdays after the Independence Day holiday. We plan on being here every week in June. We should be here for that first week in July. Maybe a week or so after that I have to preclude the festivities and find a new home for What's on Joe Mind. We will see what's up with my schedule come July. So don't panic. We're not really going anywhere, but we might have to go somewhere little. Give a quick shout to our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys. We will quickly sing the theme song. Kokomo Toys.
Kokomo Toys.
Kokomo
Toys.
We got to see.
Jeffrey has a very special shout out.
Dustin Jeffrey has a shout out to Dr. Saxo, the rock and roll.
Just the rock and roll.
The rock and roll what?
I think he wants to see.
If only there was a video that would explain what Dr. Saxo, what he was.
Meow. 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 Meow.
He's a pampered brute. That's what it was.
We'll never find out.
He's a pampered brute. It was quite clear to see. And that's all we got. So be sure to join us next week. We'll be back with another episode of What's on Joe Mind. Hopefully there will be a similarly light load of slides for me to make after next week's Hasbro Pulse Times live stream. But we'll see how that goes. Fingers are crossed, everyone. Fingers are crossed.
75 announcements.
We've planned the line out to 2028.
Right. It's an entire month of Wednesday news drops. I'm going to need a couple of weeks off after that. For my co-hosts, Phil Donnelly, Racktime Rob Irizarry, I'm your main host, Mike Irizarry. Be sure to join us next week at 9:05 here on the Superstation for another What's on Joe Mind team stream. And until then, have a great rest of the week, everyone. And yo, Joe. I was about to say, this is where you wave. This is where you wave.